All right, everybody, let's take a moment to just really feel ourselves coming into right here, right now. Feel ourselves coming into togetherness. Really just surrendering any idea that we're here alone, and really letting ourselves just feel togetherness. Take a nice, good, deep breath in. And a beautiful, deepening, opening breath out. Letting everything within just relax and begin to fall open. We're not holding on to anything at all here. We're letting our mind relax and soften. We're letting all thoughts drift. We're letting our awareness come into just the energetic feeling, how this union, how this moment feels. We don't need to assign any words to it. We don't need to narrate. We don't need to analyze. We're sitting in the truth of what is in this present moment. Another good deep breath in, please. And really feel yourself just letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Now, we wish tonight to point you to wordlessness, to feeling without words. Now, what we mean here is not assigning a word to what we feel, but simply feeling what is without an attachment to an old idea of what it means or even what it is. We're letting everything be in the raw state of isness here this evening, including beginning with our sense of union. Take another good deep breath in. Feel yourself deepening, connecting and expanding without any effort. It's so natural. All we're doing is releasing any idea of effort at all. Total surrender to simply being. And whatever we feel of this union is what we feel. What we feel, we don't need to be any different. We don't need to have a judgment about it. We don't need to know if it's done right or wrong. We feel what we feel. Now, as always, when we gather here, we are in service. It is our intention, our intention, our intention, our intention to be of service in every way to our own being, to each other, to the collective of humanity, and to all of divine being. And tonight, this feeling of service, this feeling of service is about authenticity. It is about this rawness without definition. To let be what is as it is. Now, what we do in this is that we loosen the attachment to the need to define, because the definition, the defining, is based on the old. It is based on an agreed upon definition and understanding and separation consciousness. And what we are intending in this moment, our service in this moment, is union. Our contribution in this moment is the rawness, the raw truth of union, the raw truth of being. Now, what we're also doing here this evening, as we relax into simply being without definition, is that we are allowing our vibrational being, our vibrational awareness, to return to a remembrance of the being before there were any stories about being. That we can feel the capacity within us to let be what is as it is. And we can be aware within us of all the mechanisms that fight to figure this out, that somehow want to shape it, to craft it, to name it, to identify it, for it to be something recognizable. And what we're doing here in this moment is releasing any idea of ideas without a definition, without an old story to it. There's no idea with it. It is as it is. What we feel, we feel. Take another good deep breath in. And feel yourself once again beautifully just surrendering into this union, the absence of any effort. All we're doing is being aware. The raw state of being aware. The deeper we can relax into this, the more we can reverberate out this capacity within this field. Not with effort, by allowance. With every breath, we can continue just to be aware of whatever we feel in anywhere that we cast our awareness into the depths, into the outer reaches, in any direction, in any dimension. It is as this. We are inciting more and more deeply our innate capability to be as this, undefined. In the origins of the isness awareness, before we began to pile on definitions, before we begin to shape with stories, before we begin to get lost in feeling separate from this ability, this innate being, this wordless state of being. Now, from this origin perspective, the origin of isness before we began to define it, before we began to overlay stories and meanings. From this perspective, you can see the purity of healing that is possible. Where previously we would have tried, and the world still very much tries, to work at the level of symptoms. We're having these issues, these problems, these stressors, these thoughts, these struggles. You can see from the origin perspective, when we are dealing with things at the surface level, at the level of meaning, the level of definition, the level of narration and analysis, all we're doing is sorting through, how did we tell the story? What was the perspective that didn't feel good? We're still at the level of the symptoms. We have said this again and again and again and again. Our work, this vessel's work, is origins. From the very beginning, this vessel's experiences were all about the origins. We have reached a time where we are quite capable of settling into the feeling, the visceral awareness of our origins of isness, to understand the healing potential here, at this level. where all the struggles, all the symptoms created by what we pile on to this raw state, we can understand what happens when we don't have those piled on. We're trying to sort through and heal what we piled on when we can come right here. And without any attachment to those old perspectives or stories, everything begins to fall away. This has been demonstrated again and again in various teachings. But we are in this moment, bringing you into what you are capable of now. The collective energies are such that this is a capability. This field that you all share is quite capable of this now. Again, there is no need to tell a right or wrong, a good or bad. We feel what we feel. That's the whole point. This is the isness in this way, in this moment, without definition. And from here, we understand how everything is possible. How every spectacular perspective, every meaning, every word, every possibility is present. You can also understand how we are doing it uniquely. Creators from the origin point. What we have not understood or not seen previously is that we have been creating entirely through fear. The words that we use to assign meaning or analysis or stories, all of them created in a separation consciousness, believing that we were separate from this place, this state, this isness, from the source of creation. Now we have the capability, we all have the capability of allowing all new creation to begin, to rise, to rise, to rise from the origin. We have the capability to stop, take a breath, drop our awareness, be in the isness, and allow any perspective to rise from here. This is in some ways the blooming of that which can now grow in the soil of isness that we have not been able to access previously. And we speak here in a mindful creation, that we mindfully, intentionally drop into this isness and allow the creation to rise from within here. Not mentally crafted, not historically known, but the greatest potential that is available now to one and all. In the knowing of this origin state. you will begin to see again and again and again and again and again and again how you have no desire now to speak from that which has been piled on to this origin state. And you'll be able to recognize that it was just something that was piled on, a story, a meaning, a belief, an idea. And the moment we have the awareness, I just am retreating back to something I already know. It was just a thought, a belief, an idea. And the moment we have that recognition, we can take the breath, drop down, realize the isness, and allow whatever to rise from there, that which is in our highest interest inherently, that which we have not known before. You will know this because it happens with enormous ease and generally enormous surprise. Now we will remind you, as always, we work as a constellation. The constellation of awakening, the consensus constellation. Our light, our presence, our radiance consists of the qualities of awakening. We radiate by our very being right here in this very moment. This is our contribution. And today, in this very moment, our contribution, the quality that we radiate into the collective consciousness of humanity, allowing this knowing, this permission to seep into the collective consciousness, is the awareness of this capacity. The remembrance, the recognition of how lost we have been in all that has been piled upon this being state. For ever more people now to have the realization that they no longer need the old stories, the old perspective, the old ideas, the old beliefs. That simply in a breath, we can feel the raw isness state. Now, we have used this word raw intentionally this evening. It is a very good word. It means pure. It means untainted. It means unprepared. It is the most authentic awareness, the state of being, the raw state of isness. This is simply as it is. You can practice this with anything. With anything that you're aware of in this very moment, what you're aware of in our collective field here, feeling of union, the feeling of togetherness. Whatever you feel within the physical body, whatever you feel when you walk outside, this is the isness. Whatever you feel when you cast your eyes upon anything, the isness. Whatever you feel as you walk, as you breathe, as you wake up, as you go to sleep. It is as it is. We allow in this everything to be new. Feel these words. We allow in this raw state of isness for everything to be new, unknown, newly created. You can understand from this raw state that anything that we would try to create would be a version of something that we already know, an imagined improvement on something we've already laid over isness. So you can see in this what we access is greater creative potential. Not creative potential we have accessed through the lens of fear, but in the absence of any lens whatsoever. You can feel in this, we can also experience being created through. When we are in this raw state of awareness, we're in divine union. We are the expression of the creation itself, and we know it. We marvel in this. We bask in this. What we allow for creation in this raw state of awareness is the movement of God, the movement of Source, the movement of the universe without limitations. Without any obstacles, without any oppression, without any demands. No, the more that we rest in this raw state of isness, the more we begin to feel within incredibly free, easily joyful. and a sense of lightness like we have never known. In the human experience, we are quite unaware of how heavy separateness feels. So when we begin to walk in the raw state of isness, we are acutely aware of how very light being is. We are literally unburdened. We will say again, we have reached this capacity here in this collective field and within the collective consciousness of humanity, but of course it will take much longer as this energy seeps in to ever denser layers. This is a very important contribution, as they all are, but this is one that is quite profound and powerful in its healing potential. We will say again, we don't sort through the details of all that was laid over this. There are no more details laid over this when we're in the raw state of being, the raw state of isness. No, we want to encourage you to revisit this gathering again and again and watch how your capacity changes every time you do it. How the understanding deepens, the capacity expands. And what you do as you revisit this again and again is that you just align again and again and again and again to your true nature, to your union with an as source, raising the awareness of source here in presence. Not through effort, but it is innately happening. In the raw state of isness. You will find yourself, as you do this, growing quieter, growing in contentment without a need to be entertained, growing in a recognition of your choices, what you choose to do, to watch, to say, to read, to participate in or not. This will increase your mindful awareness tremendously. It is our great joy to gather with you in this way this evening. For we have, in fact, this evening opened the door to great potential. Great potential individually, together, and collectively in humanity. We thank you for your choice, your willingness to be here in amplifying this experience for everyone present and for the power and potency of the light that we radiate to the collective. We thank you for this gathering and for this love. Let us just be aware here of the peace of this field, the beauty of this togetherness here, the ease that it brings us so simply. And being aware of all of this, let's take it all in. Good deep breath in. And just feel all of that really soaking into your being. Feeling it nourishing every speck of your physical being. Let's do that again. Big, beautiful breath in. Breathe it all into the physical body. And feel that breath orienting you fully back into your physical form. Starting to be aware of the room where you're sitting. Starting to hear the noises around you now. You can touch your fingers to your thumbs. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.